This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Live from Peach Time Out in the heart of Times Square, you're listening to Beach Talk Radio with Kim and Ed Ryan.
And a good evening, everybody, and welcome to Beach Talk Radio. It's a Friday happy hour, and I know we promised that we would not be on tonight, but we can't live without you. We just can't live without you. You got to control your own microphone.
You cannot live without all the la 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 la.
No, you knocked that off. You knocked that off. How dare you?
You just can't. You just love to hear yourself talk.
Well, that's part of it too. But part of it is that, you know, the day goes along and you think there's not going to be anything that happens, and then everything happens and you feel like, all right, well, we've got enough for a show. And we've got a couple of guests lined up, and we've got a big announcement to make about something coming up that you don't even know about. And we want to make sure that we get that information across. And I got you your stand back, so you have your hands free now. So everything okay on the sound wise, everybody? Check 1, 2. We got Michigan. We're going to kind of be, it's going to be kind of like a relaxed show, dear, because it's like a happy hour.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's going to be a relaxed show.
Yeah.
So
I hope everybody out there is having a little drink.
Yes, you can live without him.
Now,
I can live without him.
And I know you're drinking coffee in your coffee cup, but I want everybody to know that this is a Captain Morgan private stock and Diet Coke. Now, there's a special way you have to make this drink in order for it to sound good. We have like 20 of these. What do you call these things? What are these cups called?
Yeah, Tervis.
The Tervis tumblers. I put like 20 of these. I don't drink 20 drinks, but hang with me now, folks. We put these Tervis tumblers from all over the country that we got in a freezer out in the back, and we have ice out in the back. And I only drink one drink with every single cup, like one drink, and then the cup goes in the dishwasher. The drink only tastes good if you have one drink out of it, and it has to have new ice. Every drink has to have new ice. It has to be a frozen cup, and then you put the Captain Morgan private stock and the Diet Coke in it. Try it, guys. Try it. It's delicious.
See what I'm working with here, folks.
And then I wash the cups.
OCD.
But sometimes you find something that's a perfect taste and you can't change things. It's like you get into a routine. Not that I'm a routine person, but that you get into a routine and it tastes just perfect that way that you do it. So that's what. And what will you
to work your magic on getting a porta potty moved?
I'm not a town manager. I just play one on the Facebook, everybody. So I don't know if I can do anything about that. But
you're a shit stirrer, not a shit mover.
Before we get. Oh, wow. You get a bell for that one. Did you practice that?
I did not.
All righty. The first thing we wanted to bring up was the town meeting from yesterday. Let's see, that's over 24 hours ago. That was recorded, that we tried to feed to you, but you guys feel free to keep sharing what kind of drink you're drinking there. I'm just going to try and make sure I don't get distracted by trying to see what everybody's drinking. Is anybody drinking Patron? That's what I want to know. Is anybody drinking Patron? More on that later. The meeting from yesterday, we tried to feed it out to you on the internet, but there's no internet there. The hotspots weren't working. I was trying to find somebody that didn't have AT&T because I was going to commandeer their phone and try and play it on a different network, but it just didn't work. And so the people you had to see the comments in the comment section yesterday, like. Every once in a while, the thing would stay on like for 2 minutes and people could comment. And they were like, Ed, maybe you should move closer to the window. Or does Ed know that the internet isn't working? I can't watch. And they would just comment one right after another. Right, they don't care. They're just talking about their drinks.
I'm really.
Chocolate martini. Who do we know that drinks that? Aunt Jean drinks that. Chad is on his second Miller Lite. Oh, he drinks a girly drink. Chad drinks a girly beer.
Everybody loves Miller.
Miller Lite. That was Gene's drink. Gene is the voice that we have. This is Gene's voice is the one that you hear. He used to, wasn't it Miller Lite? Yeah, it was Miller Lite because it was cheap. Yeah. No drink, medical marijuana. Okay. So some people are listening to the show high. Anyway, so back to the meeting, dear. The meeting was recorded. Like the town had these big, gigantic cameras set up where they were, you knew they were recording it, which had nothing to do with the internet. But here we are, 24 plus hours later, and it's still not posted to their Facebook page. It makes no sense to me when you have timely information like they had yesterday. They had all the department heads. They had all the department heads giving out great information. Christy and Jason and Daphne, all of them were up there giving out great timely information. And here we are over 24 hours later, and they apparently they have technical difficulties that they can't get the meeting posted to the YouTube page. So that's just another one of the lack of communication with the public things that's driving people crazy. That was one of the big things from yesterday. So if you're looking for the meeting from yesterday, it's not there because they haven't posted it yet. I have it, but I have it in, in jibber jobber where it really wasn't, it wasn't working well because there, the internet wasn't working. We had a special visit to our house today. They're still listing all the drinks. You drunks out there, you fit right into our audience. Thank you so much. Bernard McGarvey and his wife stopped by the house. And for those of you that are new to the show, Bernard has a, is it a British accent or is Australian or Irish accent? And we just love his accent. And he's got such a great sense of humor. And it's the first time I met his wife, and his wife has an accent that's even stronger than his. And it was shocking that you weren't here because you like to ask him to say turdy tree.
And yes, I was at work, but they've been married a long time because I remember he came on the show. He's a Lion, right? He comes on for the Lions for the Shrimp Festival, which it'll be a few years before that gets back up and running.
Everybody drinks on Friday. It's crazy. It's crazy. Bumba rum. I got to try that. But what were you saying?
No, that he came on our show and he wanted to wish his wife a happy anniversary, and he got all choked up. And
he's such
so
a
sweet. After I think they've been married, I don't know, maybe 37 years. I can't remember what he said. Probably longer.
I need to tell a quick story about Bernard that he told me in the driveway. Well, what's everyone else going to do? They could just turn off if they don't want to hear the story. I know you would rather go running than to hear my stories, but this is Bernard's story. So he was getting ready to go to Ireland to visit family and friends in Ireland when the hurricane came through. And so he calls up the airline and he says, listen, there's circumstances beyond our control. Can I get a voucher? And the airline says you can only get a voucher if the airport's closed. Well, the Fort Myers airport was closed, but it opened the next day. Like it opened when his flight went. Like it was the day that were 3 flights going out, and one of them was his. So he couldn't get reimbursed for his flight. But he did, tell his friends, and his wife went on the Facebook, and you know how the social media thing starts to catch on. Well, the CEO of the airline, which wasn't a American airline, it was one of the ones, I guess, from Ireland, must have caught on and saw it, and they made contact with him. He got a full voucher for all his money. So that was a good ending to that because they live in a condo on the beach and they haven't been able to go back to it yet. Yeah.
That's great.
Good story?
No, I don't.
You don't have a feel-good story? It's really shocking for me to come to the table with a feel-good story and not you.
Some good story endings for some of the issues we're dealing with right now, but so far,
not yet. Speaking of Bernard, he and the Lions Club gave a $5,000 donation.
Wow.
To the fund, the community foundation, the fund that we're all kind of contributing to give money back to the folks in the 33931 zip code. And so thank you so much to the Lions Club for being part of that. We really appreciate it. Tomorrow morning at 9:00, we are going to give $20,000 to the community foundation and the women's club toward that fund. So we keep feeding the fund. And that's going to be tomorrow morning at 9:00. We're going to be broadcasting live from the base of the bridge, which is going to be really cool, where all the action is. You keep laughing because you're reading all the comments. You're not really paying attention to the show. It's very important that we get this information.
Mark Meisenthal is giving out all my secrets.
Is he on there? Is he watching the show? What's going on with him?
His shoes I have. That's a reference to hit you in the forehead with. And he's talking about my love of guacamole.
Oh boy. All righty. So let's talk about the water. Stop talking about the rum and all this other drinking stuff.
You know, there's been a lot of press about not going in the water. So again, folks.
Yeah, stay out of the water. You might land on a car if you jump in the water at any point. So let's talk about the water. The town did send out or post to their page information about the water. They didn't send it to me. They didn't share it with us. They didn't call and say we have a press release. They didn't do anything like that. So, I mean, why would they do that? Because we only have 61,000 followers.
Okay, move it along.
Okay, sorry. They did give instructions. So here's the deal with the water. The steps to restore your water for the property owners as of today. The town's utility department will contact you when water is able to be restored to your home. Emailing or calling the utility department will not make things go any faster. They are all involved with getting the water restored and will contact you when they are ready. Steps to water restoration for property owners as of today. Here we go. Secure your structural and electrical inspection. So I think that was one of the questions that we weren't really 100% sure of. But now you know you need to have your electrical inspection done and your structural engineer report in. You submit those by email to buildingpermits@fmbgov.com. And anyone can type that in if they want to. Buildingpermits@fmbgov.com. You wait for the confirmation from the Building Services Department that the inspections are reviewed and accepted. Then you wait for notice from the town's utility department that your street is ready for water restoration and that your home is scheduled to receive it. Be at your home when your water is getting set to be restored. Currently, the following streets have the ability to receive water. Are you sitting down, folks? Get your pencil ready. Sterling.
Yeah, look, just
Lanark.
got water on today.
Who got water on?
Sterling.
Very nice. Sterling, Lanark, Seminole, Falkirk, Sable, and Launder. I've never heard of Launder, but they all must be close together somewhere. All right, so that is the water situation. After we go to the phone, I have a call to make, and I forgot to connect the phone. Where's your connector? That's right. I'm going to try and do it by Bluetooth, so you can go ahead and entertain the audience while I'm doing that. You don't know how to entertain the audience?
No, you didn't tell me to get ready for that.
All righty. Go get the white thing, dear. Go get the white thing. That'll make it easier out of your car. So, and I can tell people about the electric now. So, let's see. Our friend at who was the first electric guy we had on? I'm drawing a complete brain fart right now. What? No, not Terry. He wasn't on. Dagnese. Mike Dagnese was on. And so there's been a lot of they've been getting bombarded with emails and questions about FPL and electric. So they put together 4 frequently asked questions, let's say, about the electric, and they wanted me or us to share it with you so that you knew what was going on. So here they are. The email or the call from FPL that you must have all gotten was a blast email to everyone who still does not have power. If you have had both your electrical and structural inspections, ignore the email. If you have not had them, both the email is basically just letting you know they will not connect power without them. Okay, I think everybody knew that. Number 2, there's 4 of these. The town will contact FPL for you with a clearance number after receiving both of your inspections. From what these folks know, the electrical folks, they've been hearing it's about a week after both inspections are submitted to the town until you get power due to a high email volume. So once you have everything in, if power has been restored, which it basically has by FPL up and down Estero Boulevard, they'll notify you when you're going to get power. So it's taken about a week. Let's see. My electric was turned on and now it's off. FPL is investigating. So Kathy's got an issue with her electrical. Number 3, once you have gotten an electrical inspection from MD Electric, they will email the town the same day. Okay, this is MD Electric saying that if you're part of them, So just insert your own electric company here or electrician here. Once you have gotten an electrical inspection from MD Electric, they'll email the town the same day with your address. If you've been cleared, you do not need to submit it yourself or again. In other words, be patient. And the last one, number 4. I hope this is making sense to all of you folks out there. The town website now says electrician must submit the report, not the homeowner. Well, I just said that. John, didn't I? Did I say that? Yeah, I just said that. Number 4, please, if you can coordinate with your neighbors to send MD Electric, if you're using them, a list of multiple addresses on one street, it would make it much easier for them to schedule and complete the entire street at a time instead of bouncing back and forth. So get with your neighbors if your neighbors are there and work together on that. So that's from MD Electric. And I talked to Sarah a couple times today. Sarah is Mike's daughter, trying to set everything up and set up a phone number. They're just getting bombarded with calls and all kinds of things. So question, do you need to get a permit for any necessary electrical work? I think the answer to that is if you're getting like work outside, you know, what's going on here, the basic stuff, you probably do. I think we should
write that question down and ask somebody.
Yeah, Dan for tomorrow. So
what if
can somebody email that to me?
Do we need to file for a permit?
What do you mean you're not cleared?
Whatever you were talking about.
If you're not cleared by the electrician, I think you need to get a permit to get the work done. Yeah, I think the answer is yes to that. But those are all good questions. If you can email them to me, we'll bring them up with Dan tomorrow. Dan knows he's going to get a lot of these questions tomorrow. You had a lot of the questions yesterday, and you can't watch what the answers were because the video's not up yet. But
someone's asking if you can write down the steps. So we can post the steps. Ed'll take care of that.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Really doesn't do much for the show anyway, so could probably do that.
Yes, good point. So what I will do is this is a perfect time to tell you that instead of posting things like that to the Facebook page, I'll put them on our news page, the Beach Talk Radio news page, and then I'll post a link to the Facebook page so you can see it. So I'll take those 4 details from Sarah and put them on the Beach Talk Radio news page today after the show, and you guys can check it out there. Go ahead.
I just, folks, we've been getting questions. I've been getting questions. You've been getting questions. You guys are doing a great job trying to figure out and navigate this system
without any help.
It's so, well, that was your opinion. It's so complicated and there's so many questions and really, I know I speak for him too when I say this, that our hearts go out to you because it seems so overwhelming even when I talk to one person, and we will do the best we can to get as much information out to you and connect you with whatever services we can do. And please bear with us, but geez.
Two things to follow up on what you just said. The first thing is the town, you might have seen on the Facebook page this morning that I made kind of like a formal request to have like somebody from Public Works and somebody from permitting, somebody from that can explain the 50-50 rule from the town's perspective. I said Monday should be one, Tuesday should be none, and the town flat out denied there will never ever be an employee that is allowed to come on our show because they say that it would just give credibility to the show. So just so you know that we're working that's what he said. And nothing. And nothing. It's my show. I can say what I want to say.
All right.
You can say it though, because it's your show too. So there will never be any employees from the town on the show. So we'll just try and get the information any way we can. So what were we talking about before you cut me down like you did?
No, I was just saying how complicated this process is for everybody. There's so many.
Right.
It's so much to do.
All right, let's call Robert. We got to get Robert on the phone. You guys might not even know this is going on. You don't know this is going on.
From the beach on Monday, Tuesday. I think it's
yes. This is Robert. Of course, he's not answering the phone. There's a big event going on tomorrow that Kevin Ruane was turning me on to, so I wanted to share that with all of you. So let me see if I could text him. Yes, go ahead, dear. You can jump in there. Come on.
You don't tell you. he texts me earlier and says, "Hey, oh, we're going to do a show. I'm out running errands. We're going to do a show, blah, 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 blah." And then you expect me to just walk. I didn't even get to change my shirt. And you're like, I like and improv.
Speaking of shirts, that's a good segue. We did ship out a bunch of the yellow shirts today that you're not wearing, and we
just walked in the room.
And all of the shirts that are for pickup are here at the house. So we'll figure out either to get them to you from our house, or we're going to be at Buttonwood tomorrow. All right, I think we got him now. This is Robert. Stand by, everybody. Oh, I think I just hung up on him. Just kidding. I hit the wrong button. Robert, are you there?
Yes, I am, man. How are you?
Good, Robert. You are live on the #1 radio station in all of Fort Myers Beach, Florida. How are you? Now, Robert, tell everybody who you are first.
I was fortunate enough to live in Southwest Florida. I lived in Siesta Isle, just off of San Carlos Boulevard for years, and then over in Iona as well. Spent over a decade living in your area. Love the area. I had a marketing agency while there, and based upon that, two of my larger clients were the Fort Myers Beach Chamber of Commerce and the Sandcap Chamber of Commerce.
Oh,
so a lot of business contacts are my friends. A lot of people involved in the community, and just obviously just a lot of friends. And I did move away 3 years ago, and when all this happened, I'm personally devastated by it. Obviously, not as much as you all who were there, but it just hit me very, very hard. And I've got some business partners who are still in Florida, up in the Orlando area, and we banded together with some tremendous folks in business who are willing to participate in a 12-hour kind of telethon online tomorrow, carried by a TV station out of Orlando and also on traversetv.com. And our goal between tomorrow for 12 hours and then again in November on both Thursday and Friday, the 17th and 18th, doing another 12 hours each day. Our goal is to raise $1 million, in which we then want to be presenting checks to individuals in the Southwest Florida area.
Wow. So people in Fort Myers Beach and other areas like Sanibel and Fort Myers and everywhere, or just Fort Myers Beach?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Anybody affected, obviously, from, some people in Naples, obviously in Collier County, Bonita, then obviously Fort Myers Beach, Matlacha, Pine Island, whoever's going to be needing it. We're going to be giving the money directly to individuals. Nice. Yeah, we have. Fortunately, our reach is fairly strong, so we have folks like Les Brown, who's probably one of the #1 inspirational speakers in the world.
Yeah,
he will be involved tomorrow. Forbes Riley, the queen of QVC, for those of us who are old enough to remember the juicer, and all the Body by Jake. She's involved with us, and actually, when we come and present the checks, her video crew will be coming with us and actually videoing it, because we want to be able to document everything, that the money's going to where it needs to go. So. Yeah. We've got 20 speakers lined up tomorrow. Commissioner Kevin Ruane will be involved. A few locals. As you can imagine, so many of the locals have been so affected, and they're just racing time right now to try to take care of their properties. That it's it was kind of a raw situation to be trying to do this fast, but we feel that people need the money this fast, and then we're going to back it up again in a few weeks when hopefully things have calmed down a little bit more.
Right. Well, so again, tell us how people can watch it and be involved.
Absolutely.
In it.
Yeah. Well, my suggestion is, because obviously you're listening base, and I've read so many great things about the work that you all are doing. So many of my friends, when this first happened, I was, getting a lot of feed, obviously, because I'm out in California. So I was getting feed, and I was sending things to people. It seemed like Facebook Messenger was like the only way that people could communicate back then, as long as their phone was still alive. But I kept hearing that, Beach Talk Radio was providing some of the best information for people to understand what was happening. So I know you've got a great reach to folks. And my suggestion for everybody listening, since you're in the affected area, push this information out to all your friends, family, and contacts outside of the affected area so that they can listen to it. And then hopefully they'll want to be able to give a helping hand to the people that really are in need. So we're going to be televising tomorrow online, from noon Eastern until midnight, and it's on Watch, the word Watch, WATCH, Traverse, TRAVERSE TV.com. So watch.traversetv.com. And then we've got both a GoFundMe as well as a PayPal that people are going to be able to give donations. We're going to kind of run it like the telethon of Days Gone By every 30 minutes, letting people know how we're doing.
Cool.
There are going to be videos and obviously some local speaking, and then some tremendously inspirational people, because our whole concept is, we want to give, hope to the folks that are there. I know they're banding together and doing a great job right now, but we want them to know that other people outside are looking and thinking, and we want to be able to, raise the funds to be able to help the local people who are in need.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much. And we will keep pushing that website out. And that's tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see what Kevin Ruane's motivational speech is all about. So I can't wait to see that. Yeah, that's true. All right, man.
It is phenomenal.
Too, so that's great.
Thanks a lot, man. We'll stay in touch. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, Robert. We will we'll keep pushing that out, folks. It'll be nice to have some more money coming our way, because it's all about the money. And one of the things that I wanted to mention was when you all get a chance to share. I mean, obviously, we like to see the numbers grow on our page, but we plan to keep pushing out all this story. We keep adding new pictures and showing new pictures, and every day I get pictures, and I never thought that I could see pictures that were more devastating than the pictures I saw yesterday, and I do. And then when the people send you the before and after pictures of their house, you just sit there and you look at it. It doesn't make any sense. Like, that house looks so beautiful, and now it's just a pile of nothing. And so all we can do is keep sharing the pictures, and hopefully you guys out there will keep showing those pictures and sharing our page with other folks, because like I keep saying, people are going to forget about it and they're going to move on to other things. And it happens in most communities when there's a catastrophe like this. It's a popular thing with the press for a little while, but then after a while, you start fending for yourself. And we're going to make sure that doesn't happen. And I think you said that Dan plans to, or maybe not.
I don't know. I don't know how long.
Okay.
I mean, that was just.
All right. Well, we'll come back to that. But anyway, so if you guys can keep sharing it the way you're sharing it, that would be great, because I will keep changing the pictures every day. I have enough to last me a long time, because it's basically every house on every street, and they just keep getting worse and worse. And the other thing I wanted to mention, Robert brought up Facebook Messenger. I have to be honest with you. If you send me a Facebook message, the chances are very low that I'm going to read it, because there's just so much. There's this stuff on Facebook Messenger, and there's stuff in email, and there's stuff on text, and people call. And the only time I read Facebook Messenger is really when I'm in the restroom and I get to it there. And fortunately, that happens a lot. So I do read a few of them, but I'm not going to guarantee that I can read the most current ones. It's just the routine that I get in. And so if you can send an email, that's going to be the best thing. I'm always checking emails. I'm always on the email. What are you doing?
I'm trying to find this. You said something that made me think, and let's
talk about the shirts for a second before we get our next guest on. And you're really going to want to stay tuned for our next guest, who was in the storm when it came through Fort Myers Beach. And you're going to want to hear his story about how he got through the storm. But we did order 500 more shirts. I went down and I picked up the shirts from Turtle Shirts. If you ever need anything, talk to Angie at Turtle Shirts. That's not a paid ad. That's just she's just a solid person, and they're a great local business, and they turned the shirts around for us. Like, well, you guys knew it was like days. We ordered 500 shirts, thanks to Daniel, who covered the cost. So all the money that you pay for the shirts, some people are paying the price of $30. Some people are just throwing in $100. And all the money now is going to be to the gift cards. And buying the gift cards is a whole different story for a different show. But we also are getting sweatshirts, everybody. 3 bells for you for saying you like the sweatshirts.
You getting what color?
We're going to get the blue.
All right. Good.
They like the blue, right?
I know.
I like to stick to the yellow. I know, because you want to stand out. But we are going to get the blue sweatshirts, and they are going to cost $50. But, as soon as
sweatshirts are
right. And when they cover the cost, when we cover the cost, the money's going to go. We're not keeping any of that money, but we are going to.
And it's getting a little chilly.
It is. Well, I woke up the other night and walked outside. I was like, oh, wow, this is nice. So let's, did you find what you wanted to read, or should I make the call?
No, make the call. I'm waiting for an email address that I can announce.
We did talk a little bit about our news website, and we're going to bring that up again in a little bit because I need to share some stuff.
Hello, Dad. Thank you.
Your dad's watching?
Yeah.
Look at that. Daddy-o. This is going to be a great story right here.
Is that you, Geico?
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Steve Johnson from Fort Myers Beach. You are live and on the #1 radio station in all of Fort Myers Beach. How are you?
The most informed for sure, Ed. I don't know what the town would have done without BTR to throw them away this disaster. I got to tell you.
I don't know if I believe you because your sense of humor.
You know, I have to be able to stay in this room, and if his head blows up too much, I'm going to be pushed right out into the garage.
Oh my gosh, Kim! Hey, Kim, that's a great statement.
I know he did that on purpose because he knows about the bell. So for folks that are new to the show, Steve Johnson is a resident of Fort Myers Beach. His wife, Cindy Johnson, is also a resident of Fort Myers Beach. And Steve.
Well, imagine that.
Yeah, and they live in the same house. They're married, by the way. Steve is not only the chair of what, I don't even know if the committees exist anymore, but he's the chair of the Marine Resources Task Force. I think you threw another word in there, environment in there. To make it longer. But he's also on the mosquito board, which is fascinating that there's a mosquito board that Fort Myers Beach has. But enough about the politics. Steve decided that he was going to stay on the beach during the storm. Now, I'm going to let you take it from there. And first, tell us why you stayed.
Irma. I mean, Irma we thought was a bad storm. So we put our Irma game. Cindy and I put out, yeah, that's the first mistake. Cindy and I put our Irma plan together and, put the sandbags up, and I kind of, she was supposed to go off the island, but the people that she normally stays with weren't worried about the water rising. So they weren't there to open the place up. So she decided we needed to ditch to our good friend and life-saving friend, Fred Murphy, who lives about 6 houses down. And has a tall building with 2 floors on it, and so she escaped there. I stayed in the house, Ed, and I thought I'd be ready for the water as it came up. But I got to tell you, that water came up so damn fast. It was up over the sandbags. It was up over the window, and I was trying to lift stuff higher, thinking, "Come on, how much higher can it really get?"
Right.
And then it started coming up really fast.
How long? Because you're a pretty cool cucumber. So how long did you stay like, all right, it can't get any higher? At what point did you start doing a high-pitched freak out?
You know what? When the toilets started exploding.
No way.
What?
Yeah, there was a great, there was probably 4 feet higher water outside the house than in at that point. So I'm thinking, all right, the water's coming in, maybe it won't make it all the way in. Maybe it'll start receding. And then the 2 toilets, you could just hear them sort of exploding. It sounded like a fire hydrant was opened up, and then all of a sudden this black water started mixing in with the salt, the salt water coming in. And that's what I said. You know what? Dying of flesh-eating bacteria is one thing, but so that's when I decided I better get my ditch kit together, and I grabbed my waterproof backpack and I threw my PC in there, a hard drive, a change of clothes, because of course when I got where I was going to be wet, and that was it. And
so before you go too far into your story, when you're in a situation like that, what do you decide you're going to go for first? Like, what are you putting in the backpack?
Well, first of all, it's small backpacks. So I thought, well, for the laptop for sure, because that's got the family jewels there. I mean, I'm pretty good about scanning documents. I mean, organizing documents, all the photos were there and on the hard drive. So I grabbed that. My thought was, documents and frankly, I'm starting to think about photos. That's, we've got a whole bunch of shots that were pre-digital and they were sitting on the dining room table next to the legacy boxes that Cindy ordered that we were going to send them in to digitize them. And of course they were still sitting there. So, but we did recover them. I mean, that's the neat thing is that when they're wet, you can peel them apart and lay them out and they're basically still good. So, then those were the types of things I was running around lifting higher. and didn't really even notice the water getting higher until it was up higher in the kitchen windows. And then I thought, I got to get out of here. And I opened the window that I was going to crawl out of, and the water was gushing in. I said, this is going to take me 15 minutes for this water to equalize in the house.
Before you can get out, right?
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Plus, I thought, well, we don't need it to have any more water in the house, because who knows, maybe it's going to start going down. I know that's the kind of stuff that goes through your mind. So then I grabbed that backpack, and I mean, there's all kinds of, radios and all the prep stuff was right there. I should have loaded it up before I left, and I didn't.
So at that point, when the water's rushing in, and you got to wait till it equalizes out, because you can't get out against that pressure, right? Then you have to swim, right? I mean, you're not like
right. I would have to. Yeah, I'd have to swim to get out. But what I did, Kim, is I went out to the bathroom window. There's a small window there that the water hadn't reached yet. And I climbed out on top of my air conditioning condenser that was sitting out there on its, hurricane stand, and kind of weaseled my way through there. And that's when I jumped down and went up to my chest, basically. And I realized, man, this stuff's really coming up fast. And I almost made the wrong decision. I was going to go next door, because that's a 2-story. But Cindy wasn't there. So I said, I can't be sure she's not okay. I'm assuming she is. So I better get to her. And I was going to go on the Gulf side of the houses, on the canal side, because it was a little bit shorter. And I realized, if I step into that canal, I'm dead. So I came back around and kind of went on the leeward side of the houses and pushed through bushes and stuff, because to try to go around the full length of bushes between houses would have put me out where the water was rushing down the street, and it was just gushing between the buildings. And I think the worst part is that it was so loud because of the wind. You wouldn't believe how loud it was, and all the water that was frothing around. And my main concern was that something wouldn't take my feet out, which I felt confident. I was walking slowly and making sure my feet were solid. But then also, I had to look up, because I was waiting for a 4x4 or 6x6 or something to hit me square in the head, and then I'm dead. So that was what I was most worried about, was the flying debris. And then I got to my neighbor's house, thinking about 6 houses down around the corner. And I got up I climbed up the stairs, and I knock on the door, and I'm like, where the hell is Cindy at? Here I am, the water's clearly up to my, my neck now, literally.
Wow.
Isn't she waiting by the door? So that probably was 15. It was probably 15 seconds. So the first thing I thought was, I'm cursing my wife out.
I'll bet she was doing that about you for staying back behind. You probably gave her a heart attack.
Yeah, she was surprised it was that high and I hadn't left yet. So. But that was just, and I was walking close to the neighbors' houses too, because they, nobody talked before this hurricane. Before Irma, everybody talked. We were helping each other get ready, talking about ditch plans. We tied ropes to each other's houses and all that kind of stuff. And this one, I wasn't even sure who stayed on the island and who didn't.
Oh, wow. A false sense of security, because last time they said there was going to be a storm surge and there wasn't.
Exactly. But that's when the problem, I knew we were going to have problems, because the canal never emptied last time. It emptied out in about 6 inches of water. But when it was supposed to be emptying, it was up over the seawall already. And I thought, this is not the same.
So Steve, at any point, did you have to swim to the other house?
I didn't. No, I just kept walking. Basically it was up, like I said, to about my armpits, my chest, and I just I didn't want to take my feet off the ground, because I didn't have control. So I just kept kind of holding onto the houses and pulling through the bushes and grabbing handholds as well as I could to get there. So
at any point did you think, man, I'm gonna die?
Well, again, I just kept thinking something hit me in the head, because again, it's probably 150-mile-an-hour winds, right, that they recorded. So they were, and when you went between the houses, there was just, you see, the water was rushing, but also just all kinds of junk in the water.
Yeah,
you had to sort of look to see what was flying through when you scurried from between the houses, and that was, that was one of the problems I had, was just worrying about what the hell was going to knock my block off.
So when you walk in, or you swim in, or you walk into the house where your wife is, what is the first thing you two say to each other?
What did we? I probably said, "Where the hell you been? I've been knocking on the door for 2 days."
Why was the door locked?
Yeah, that was the question. Why is the door locked?
My knees and kissed the ground. I didn't care how much.
The house that you went to, the door was locked.
I locked the door. Yeah.
Why, Cindy? Did you think the water couldn't get in or something if you locked the door?
Looking for looters already. I don't know.
Crazy. So how high up off the ground was the house that you were in? Okay.
Still, it came up to his.
It came into the house. So he had a
Came into
house
the
where
house.
there's a set of stairs, and then there's a door entry, and then there's a landing. And then of course, then inside there's stairs going down to the garage, but then there's another 9 steps, let's say, up to the very top.
Okay.
And so we were standing at the top of that second flight of stairs, and it came up to the fourth stair up into the house, and then the doors blew out underneath the house, the French doors he had in the back, and then it started like rushing in, subsiding, rushing in, subsiding. We were counting.
It was wavy inside the house.
Wow.
Yeah. And Cindy's saying, well, we need to get up on top of the kitchen counter, and we need to
we need a plan. We need
a plan. I said, wait a minute.
On the kitchen counter. What are we gonna do next?
Was it only you? Was it only you two, or was it there other?
It was only us two. Yeah. Yeah.
And our dog.
Fred called the night before. Yeah, and our dog. So that was a bit of an issue too. But Fred called the night before and said, if things get crazy, you have my garage code, the indoor, the house door inside's open. You're welcome to escape up there. And thank God he did, because that's exactly where we ended up going. And frankly, we've been refugees in this place for the last 21 days, I think.
Yeah.
And we just finally got off the island. Yeah.
Nice enough to have us stay there with them.
Got off the island.
So you stayed there, but there was no power, there's no water, there's no sewer. So what did you guys do?
They're strong.
Worked at our house.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
We worked on our house.
Well, for the first, I don't know, 4 days or so. I mean, nobody had generators was the problem, because they were all sitting, what they thought was high enough underneath the house or whatever. So every generator that was available was literally sitting underwater. So we had one neighbor that did have one. They brought it all the way up to the second floor and put it in the house. It was kind of a suitcase one. So he was running that and charging phones the whole time, because nobody else had phones and nobody knew what was going on. And there was just the people that were here, and we were looking at some of the survivors. We had, unfortunately, my neighbor next door had passed in the storm. And then in the back on our canal, we had the Hideaway Hotel, which was at the corner of Lazy Way and Estero by the car wash. That made it all the way down, a block down, and then down our canal. And it's up against it's in our backyard, basically. So there were 7 people on that.
So your neighbor couldn't get out?
He couldn't get out. He chose to try to swim out. His fiance stayed on top of the grill where she could keep her head above water. And then he was worried for her and wanted to find out if he might be able to get up and go through the roof or something. And so he was attempting to swim out, and I believe he drowned. So,
well, did she make it?
She did. She made it. When the water receded, she went across, and you probably know Jesse, maybe Vinny and Jesse Titus.
Yeah.
So they were housing her, and then also the 7 that came on the roof from the Hideaway Hotel he had up at their place. So he had 8 real refugees up in his place. And one of those passed and was underneath the Hideaway roof. One of the 4 from Dayton, Ohio, was underneath. And then apparently there was even another person underneath too that they came back for maybe 3 or 4 days later. But it was it was nasty. It's not the kind of ride I was looking for, Ed, when I came down here to live the salt life,
Yeah. So how long was the water before it started to recede? How long was it at its height where it was a pain in the ass, and then it starts to recede?
We were looking at our photos, the time date stamp on the photos. So I left our house at about 12 o'clock, about noon, and the water was about up to my chest, like I said, my armpits. And then I got to the high point, I'd say, was 1:30 or 2. I was taking photos of Fred's, the water coming in and out of his house. And it made it to the 4th step, and then it started to recede. So that must have been 2 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe. And then we were taking photos, so those are time stamps. So then I think it started to recede by, I don't know, was it 5 o'clock? I mean, it just was pretty slow leaving.
And the bright spot with this hurricane is we were able to text with our family and others that were here the entire time. So, when we were saying that it's going out now, our son's like, oh no, they're not saying that on Wink News. They're saying it's still coming up. So be careful. You guys better plan. I'm like, no, it's actually going down. You see it going down. Don't worry about it anymore.
They had to be freaking out.
Oh yeah. They were freaking out.
Yeah.
Steve, at any time did you think, man, I got to cut some video and send it to Ed at Beach Talk Radio?
You serious?
You believe it or not, Ed, I did.
Steve.
I got this old iPhone, and the battery doesn't last at all. And because there was no internet or anything, it kept searching for even cell phone towers.
Oh man, I'm never gonna rely on you on a hurricane. Come on, bro.
Well, I do got one of my toilet exploding. You might want to put that front page.
Speaking of that, you did get calls from like who? The New York Times and what press came after you?
They keep showing up in our driveway.
So it all started with
Show us.
a New York Post Times reporter showed up and just walking down the street. And
a New York Times reporter was in town? I didn't even know that.
Well,
they
Everything goes
How
through
did
you,
he
dear.
how did he get on the island? He's got no ID to get on the island.
They snuck on a boat because after they talked to us, as they were leaving the driveway, like 3 sheriffs pulled up and yanked and threw them in the back of their truck and drove them off.
Yeah.
What, you mean like an escort? They were escorting him, or they were?
No, they were kicking him off the island.
Oh, I see.
Be here. Yeah.
Blind balls from the Times. Who reads that? Who reads paper anymore anyway? Jeepers creepers. We're the social influencers now. Oh, sorry. Kim, your hair looks fabulous. Lance Henderson he's creeping you. That's for sure. He's always about your hair. Cindy, how's your hair doing? I can't see it, but how's your hair doing?
Oh.
Yeah. We know someone. We got connections in the hair world. Yeah. So Steve, this may go ahead.
No, I was saying that she's got dreads now, and I think I found a dead rat.
Well, you see, that storm hasn't changed you at all, Steve.
You gotta just roll. You just gotta go.
Now looking back, would you feel like you should have gone?
Yeah, well, sure. I mean, if I knew that it was going to be that high, I guess, yeah, I should have probably just loaded up, the vehicles with whatever stuff that we're not
like
mucking
we did last
through
time. Like
to
we did
save,
last time.
and then take off. Yeah, I mean,
I think that's the thing, Cindy, is now it's really at the point where you don't. I mean, I guess they try to do the best they can with the forecast, but if there's a chance for a storm surge, you just need to go. And if it doesn't happen, be grateful. And if it does happen, you're out because.
Well, with our house, last time, if we weren't here, we wouldn't have been able to save it. And we never really wanted a bigger house. And so by the time the forecasters knew the storm was going to be like this, it was too late for us to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to make the best decisions we could at that time. We weren't going to drive over the bridges in our cars at that point in time. I mean, someone actually had me bring him up to Publix to park his truck up there in the morning, which I was fine with doing, but I'm like, oh gosh, I made Steve take my car out to the airport with me the day before.
Oh, good call.
He thought this time we should just put it in the garage on risers. And I was just like, oh God, I just have this feeling like I have to get it to zone D.
Right.
So we have one
we
vehicle.
have wheels, yeah. That's
We have
about
a vehicle, yeah.
Vehicle. And you were able to retrieve pictures. What else? What?
Well, we just started pulling everything out, and now we're sort of going through it all. I mean, fortunately, we have water today. Unbelievably, the water was turned on Seminole, Sterling, I think Falkirk, and some of the mid-island areas.
Somebody was asking if the water is on. If the water is on, does that mean the sewer is working?
Yeah.
Yep.
You think it's not working, Ed?
I think it's different.
There.
I was at the meeting.
What do you say?
I was at the private meeting yesterday. They didn't say it was all connected together. It sounded to me like it was two different things, but.
Yeah.
Did you flush your toilet? The one that blew up? The toilet that blew up?
No, they're in somebody else's.
Oh, I see.
Goes both ways, Ed. Come on, you know that.
Listen, Steve, I got a question for you. By the way, the folks that are new to the show, Steve almost ran for town council. We were trying to convince him to run for town council, but he decided to run for mosquito board instead, which he won in a landslide, but because he was only running against himself.
Disappointed, Ed.
Oh, sorry, he didn't even run. So what is your honest opinion on how the town has handled the communication with the public about this storm?
I can tell you, Ed, I think there hasn't really been communication because they're relying on sort of the website. But, we still don't have hotspots here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no internet on the island. I just don't understand why they don't wheel in those hotspots every miles.
In certain spots they do, like Times Square and Pops. That's where in Camp Roger they have plenty of it.
Exactly. And the problem is there,
we have to
for
ride
the
our
first
bike up
week, there was
It's
no
like 2
vehicles.
miles.
Yeah, there was no vehicle. So you'd have to get it while you're trying to sort of get your whatever sentimental items you have. Then you're expected to jump on your bike and ride up there to sit on Wi-Fi. I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
And I thought those things were more portable. It might just be my ignorance, but I thought those were sort of you pull in and boom, they broadcast.
I have to be honest. I don't think the feds have done enough. I mean, there should be those Verizon trucks up and down the roads, and I think they should be bringing barges in to get rid of the debris. It's just like
Right.
to me, it almost feels like Fort Myers Beach is an aftermath. I mean, I love the governor, and they got that the Sanibel Bridge up in 3 weeks, and the damn thing was breached in 5 places, and it's already up and running now. It just seems like I don't know why. It seems like Fort Myers Beach is the ugly stepchild.
Yeah, they haven't picked up the stuff on our street, not even once. We've been here for 3 weeks. Everything's just piling up.
Well,
So
I think part of it too is that negative relationship between the town and the county is really coming home to roost now. I mean, but that's just my opinion, and I don't know Jack, that's for sure. But anyway, so is there any final? Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to ask because you guys are environmentally aware and water. So someone said that they saw tarpon were still running. How bad is the water down there? Not the drinking water, but
So the beach, we did walk the beach a little bit early on, and the water was, you can tell it's dirty, I think, from coming out of the river. But there were birds there. Right now, Kim, is when the tarpon are. I mean, this is right now is when I was supposed to make my whole season, start to fish and get competitive in the club, but that's not going to happen.
it was a little crazy to see people out in front of the beach tarpon fishing when we were trying to ride our bikes up to Tops to pick up meals for my whole neighborhood. And people are out there just being normal.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that, but not now.
But the canals, Kim, the canals are absolutely
decimated. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you because I fell in at one point, so that's another story.
Well, there's lots of hand sanitizer down there. You should douse yourself in it.
Well, we were taking bottle baths for, I don't know, probably at least 14 days, 15 days. Yeah. So
how do you give yourself a bottle bath?
Put the water bottles out at the beginning of the day to heat the water.
Yeah.
Now, do you give yourself a water bottle bath, or do you give?
Well,
like a shower.
We play a little grab ass while we're there. So we
beautiful.
Basically you wet your body, then you soap it, and then you take a bottle, you keep opening bottles, and you rinse off.
Yeah. Bottles. There's a grab ass bottle bath.
Well, we moved up. So first we started with those little crinkly ones. And basically you need to have like one of the sipper ones, because then it just doesn't pour all over. Then you can feel more,
Gotcha.
Joke around like they took a 5-bottle that day. Yeah.
You use when you're camping, where you can hang it up, put the water in.
It sounds much more fun this way. What are you talking about?
They have a couple of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, and they got blown away. Everything is just, I mean, they had no idea where it went. I have a bait freezer loaded with dead fish heads and crab bait, and I don't have any idea where it's at. So I'm glad, I guess. But all that stuff sitting in the bay, I think, or in the lagoons.
What WC is going to dredge?
Yes.
There's going to be, I mean,
it's going to be nice when it's done.
It will.
I mean, that's the only upside to the whole thing, is that Judy's peeing her pants. Is that they're going to dredge that whole thing, and it's going to be super nice. I mean,
well,
there is a manatee mother and baby in our canal.
Get them the hell out of there.
They might that disgusting water, 3 days after. I couldn't believe it. Got a photo of it.
There were some FWC boats in our canal because they were looking for the dead bodies in the hideaway. And I asked them, I was thinking there were dead dolphin and manatee all over the place. I'm like, did you see any dolphin or manatee? And they're like, oh yeah, there's lots of dolphin out there swimming.
They're probably
Well, oh my
Steve, the dolphins.
Vibrio animals.
What is that? Now, why do you got to talk over everybody's head with your big words? Vibrio?
Vibrio.
Steve, what's Vibrio?
Vibrio?
Yeah.
I don't know what Vibrio is.
All right. Everybody knows what Vibrio is, Miss Smarty Pants. You always got to be the smartest person in the studio.
What I want to know is whether a dolphin can swim faster than a turtle to the keys. That
You're talking for all the new people that we had. And by the way, we have 61,000 followers now. How many does the town have? But that's another story.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, my whole family and Cindy's whole family were following you just because that's where they were. That's where they got the information.
That's the right thing to do. That's the only reason. You just it feels, because we're by the airport and we have access to the internet. And well, at the time we only had hotspot, but you got to.
That dear that we only had a
you cut it with
here.
a shovel trying to anyway. So any other advice on bottle baths that you can give us, because I think we're going to try that tonight after we get off the show.
I'm up.
Okay. and if you don't have a bunch, save them for the when you're watching the Cornubies. Watch the warm stuff for the temperature.
What's the Cornubie?
The Cornubies, Ed, they're swinging down there.
We're gonna let you. This show is. Thank you so much for coming on. We're glad you guys are safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. For everything you're doing, and I was at the Buttonwood. I found out about the Buttonwood location. I can't believe everything you've done there. I can tell you. Absolutely.
Well, it's a total team effort, and
soap there
and plenty of water, water bottles.
Oh yeah,
some sponges too if you need a sponge bath along the way. But
well, a sponge would have been nice.
Great tour.
We'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you for coming on. All right, Steve and Cindy Johnson, everybody who we've known for a long time, and they're really cool people, and that's a conversation that's going to go down in history. So you see, what are you doing? Oh, you're hiding. So as we move along,
yes,
Kim seems a bit blushed. Yes, she does. This is really what we like to see in the mail, everybody. We love to see this in the mail, not only because there's money here, but because they actually have the dollar amounts on the cards, and we can tell how much is here. But what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and surprise somebody and call the person that sent these in, because what Amanda wanted to do, she's from Gallatin, Missouri. Oh, she didn't leave her phone number on here. Damn it. Yeah, I thought I was going to be
prep.
Oh, wait, it is on here. So I'm going to try and call her.
Yes.
She doesn't want to be anonymous. What she wanted to do, and she might be watching for all I know, what she wanted to do was she just wanted us to take a picture of the cards, but I think we can do it even one better. It's $650 worth of cards, which is nice. It's a nice big chunk here. So hopefully she'll answer the phone. That's a weird ring. What kind of ring is that? It's a Missouri ring. It's not AT&T probably either.
Did you dial the right number?
I hope so.
You should know from your years of radio that this can go sideways.
Yes.
Or just fall flat.
It could go to voicemail too. It's 600.
She's now running away from the computer.
It's $650 in gift cards. And it's which I'm going to read you guys the note here that she collected from Missouri. Could you please take a picture with them once you receive them and text me the picture with her phone number? I told the people that donated I would send them proof their money was going directly to Fort Myers Beach. Thank you for everything you and your wife have done. Sincerely, Amanda from Gallatin, Missouri.
Okay, I just a point of clarification here.
Gallatin wrong?
No. You gave me a ton of crap the other night for not reading with enough emotion and energy.
She's very emotional on that one.
It was flat, but we thank her very much.
Yes. And now, before we go,
it sounds like it was a group of people that got together.
yes,
so
and I
thank
want
them.
so we'll take a picture and we'll send it to her.
Okay.
What? You have one?
No, but before you end, I have.
Why does your mom call during the show? Now let's talk about family a little bit. Bulldog's always on top of the cards. Go ahead.
If a couple of times throughout the show, you've been talking about video, did you send me video, blah, blah, blah. So if you guys have video of the storm, that's compelling video of the storm, if you could please email it to Noah, that's NOAH, at captainsforcleanwater.org. He is doing a documentary on Hurricane Ian, and he would appreciate, and he's a great guy, and we love Captains for Clean Water.
Yep.
So if you could please email him your original videos, and then he can, collect it, pull from it, and maybe make you famous. No, but that would be really helpful.
Kim is going to need some 420 after the show. What is 420? What is 420? Oh, we don't smoke that kind of stuff. But anyway, so one of the things I wanted to mention was before, when we were reading what Sarah told us about the electric, we're going to post it to our news site. We created the news site when the sandpaper folded, and when the sandpaper folded, and we created the news site. Before the storm, we were sending out 2 newsletters a week, Monday and Thursday, with all the news on Fort Myers Beach, the town council and the Putt and Pub, and there was all these events going on. Well, obviously, there's nothing going on now except for this story, so we're not sending out the newsletter. But what we do is we take important information that the town doesn't send us, but we find out anyway. We post it up on the website, and then we kind of send you the link on Facebook. So the reason I'm saying this is, on the website, if you ever just wanted to support the show, this has nothing to do with the fundraiser. If you wanted to support the show, you can. There's cups of coffee that you'll see all strategically placed on the website. You click on the cup of coffee and you can support the show. It's a $5 cup of coffee that goes directly into our account. It's money you're paying us for the value that you think we bring to the show. And it's like our salary. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because today was an insane day, and I want to read some of the folks and what they said. And you can go to beachtalkradionews.com, and Susan wants you to read the email address again. So I'll let you read that, because that's more important than what I'm going to say.
It is Noah, like Noah's Ark, NOAH.
Thank you, Chris.
At captainsforcleanwater.org.
And I'm not going to be able to read all of these.
Thank you, Chris.
Because there's a stack of these from today. Lisa Osborne, you two deserve so much more for your hard work and effort. It is so nice to see that there are still good people out there that want to help. Thank you. It doesn't seem like enough, but thank you and God bless you. She sent 3 cups of coffee. Sarah K said, real live news. Thank you so much for keeping the world up to date. And she is from Ohio. Michelle Ray bought 3 cups of coffee. Thank you for everything you're doing. You're simply heaven sent. She must be talking about you. Without you, the people of Fort Myers Beach would be lost. God bless you both. Dennis Lantigua bought 20 cups of coffee. Wow. Thank you, Dennis, for that. Thank you so much. He says Beach Talk Radio has really been a lifesaver during these hard times. My wife has even become a top fan. We know we can count on you for all the updates and the news we so desperately need. And during the aftermath, before we were allowed on, your coverage was so vital. That means more than anything. I mean, somebody saying that, don't get me wrong, we appreciate the fact that you support us with the money, but saying that means so much. I have a second home on the island that I just remodeled, and now it looks like I have to remodel again. But I still consider myself lucky. Thank you, Beach Talk Radio. Rita bought us a cup of coffee and said, you guys are awesome. Kathy bought us 5 cups of coffee. Maybe I won't need Monster anymore with all these cups of coffee. Thanks for everything, Kathy says. You're doing what you are doing to help in our recovery. FMB strong. And I'm going to read one more page and save the rest. All right. Jean B from Illinois. We love Illinois, especially Chicago. She bought us 5 cups of coffee. Love seeing all the love and support for Fort Myers Beach, my vacation spot every year. I can't wait to come back to you And thank you very much. Jan Marie bought us 6 cups of coffee. 6. I guess because that equals what? $30. Thank you, Jan Marie. She says, thank you. It's really not enough, but thank you for being. It's plenty, Marie. Jan Marie, 1 cup is enough. Lori and Steven Savino Jr. bought us 20 cups of coffee. That's a lot. See, 5 times 20 is.
You're going to be up
60,
100 time.
Thanks to you and Kim. We have knowledge of what's going on with Fort Myers Beach through this difficult time. We live in Connecticut and Fort Myers Beach, as we have 2 homes on the island now, one as the pink house washed away. You know, I wonder what people think when they type that their house washed away. Your constant information is so helpful, so grateful for what you do. Many thanks, Lori and Steven Savino. 2 more to go. We'll stop boring you. Someone bought you 25 cups of coffee. Right, Ed is reading with vigor now. Why would you try to roll me down?
That question had come up twice.
Thank you, Beach Talk Radio. We appreciate you. Jill and Brian Obansky, 400 Linnell Road in Fort Myers Beach. Are we going back to the question? All right. We are your answering machines.
So, Nadine, our house on Estero is basically falling down. Will FEMA or state help people demolish and haul away the huge debris on the lot and canal out back? You know, I got a call today. I spoke with someone today on the beach who, you know, is not going to be able to physically take their house down. And that's exactly what they were saying. Like, who does the demolition? And so we're trying to get that out. And I also wanted to say that I got a note from Beth, who owns the Beach Health Center, and she's really trying to take care of her patients as best she can. And she's getting lots of calls, but she doesn't have a place. And, you know, people need tetanus shots, antibiotics, refills. And she was hoping that we could help her find. And so I said I would put it out, you know, a trailer or something so that she can see her patients. So that if you guys have any.
Why don't we invite her on the show?
We could. If you guys have.
Nice to have a doctor on the show to talk about the tetanus shots and going in the water. I was reading a story that somebody actually, not in Fort Myers Beach, so somebody went in the water and with an open cut and died.
Yep. Guy from
Don't go in the water.
Detroit. He fell off a boat trying to help his friend, is what I read, and had a cut on his leg, and that Vibrio got in there, and that was it.
Yeah. All right. I'll save some of the other. I've got 5 or 6 more pages from what you guys have donated.
Thank you so much,
thank you so much for that. And you can go on our Beach Talk Radio news website. And if you want to support the show, that's great. And you don't have to. It's not a big deal. We would much rather you support the fund that we're putting together, and the gift cards that you're sending are great. And the Amazon boxes that you're sending are still coming. The garage empties out by 10 o'clock in the morning, and then it's filled again by the nighttime. And we just love doing it. We just love bringing it all down there and making sure that Buttonwood is filled. People are coming to Buttonwood and picking up the stuff. We were, you know, after a while, you get to think, okay, are people coming down and using the stuff? But you talked to Dan today and said that people are starting to come in and the stuff is really starting to go out.
Yeah.
And Sherry said she has to play the replay to see why you were blushing. It has to do with water sponge baths, Sherry. So yes, you definitely have to go back and listen to it. Yes, I read that as well. It became sepsis. I don't know what that is either. So,
hey, for anyone who you know, has a need, there's a place that a friend of mine has. It's called the Center for Independent Living on the Gulf Coast Center for Independent Living, and they assist folks with disabilities. So if you need help and you have a disability, you could give them a call, look them up on the internet, and see what they have. I believe FEMA is coming to talk specifically about folks with, you know, disabilities and housing and that kind of stuff. So,
where?
Well, I'll make sure
All right.
to talk out of turn.
All right, everybody. I think you've had enough of us tonight. We hope you have a great weekend.
They need volunteers too.
At Buttonwood.
At Buttonwood, at the Center for Independent Living. We're getting lots of calls. So
cool. We appreciate you guys tuning in on a Friday night when you have much better things to do than to
Yes,
watch
Sharon.
us. Thank you to Steve Johnson for coming on. We were scheduled to have another guest on, but Debbie,
You look at you. You filled the
I know
room.
Debbie Troutman donated $1,370 to the fund. And I wanted to tell her story, so we'll save that for Tuesday. Monday night, everybody.
So just say goodbye.
What? Everybody's ready to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Bye
They
bye.
want to enjoy their evening.
Well, it's Monday night. We're having the 3 candidates on. We'll do the updates for
numbers are
5
going.
minutes. We'll do the updates for 5 minutes at the beginning of the show, and then we'll do the candidates for them because Election Day is coming up. And then tomorrow, don't forget tomorrow, we're going to be live from the base of the bridge, going over the bridge. And Dan will be back on to answer your questions. So if you have any questions, get ready to throw them at Dan. And we're also going to be giving the $20,000 check. I did have a big announcement to tell everybody, but we'll save it for tomorrow because apparently I'm getting the hook. We will see you all tomorrow. Thank you for everything. We appreciate you all. We love America. God bless America. And God bless the United States, too. Bye-bye.